Let's take a look at the I/O screen and see how the patching is displayed in GLD80. The system displays a visual representation of all the physical inputs and outputs available in the mixing system. If we select the Surface tab, you can see the various sockets available on the rear of the console. The current patch is shown for each connector, which picks up the naming of a channel, and the default system number for each socket is displayed on the lower left hand corner. Note, if an input socket is routed to more than one location, you will see some dots after the name. To determine the patches for an input, bring up the source pop-up, which will display the system information. In this case, this XLR on the rear of the Surface will appear as the preamp assigned to channel 41, and also will be sent out of the option I/O module for splits and recording. The source for the USB recorder on board the GLD80 is shown in this tab. To change it, touch the USB logo and select the source from the drop-down list. There are tabs for the audio racks connected via Cat5. This makes it easy to organise where you want your various mixes to appear in relation to where your front of house and monitors control and amplifiers are located. This can also be done without the hardware connected, so you can plan your layout for the next gig. The dSnake Cat5 connects the GLD80 Surface to the main AR2412 audio rack, which has 24 XLR inputs and 12 outputs. If we want the main feed to the PA to be patched out of 2 XLRs on the main audio rack, then simply highlight a socket and choose Main LR from the drop-down list and use the range boxes to define the mixes to the sockets. You can have an output appear in more than one location, so if we highlight an XLR on the GLD80 and patch the LR mix to that location, you now have the main front of house PA connection available at the console and on stage. Note, when an output socket is selected on the screen, you can change the polarity of the socket output using the on-screen button. The AR84 expander can be connected via the main audio rack, so that's why the 1U 8 input 4 output expander is shown on the dSnake tab. As you would expect, its first XLR input will be by default patched to input channel 25. You may want to use this expander across stage for the main rack, for example, to patch the mics on the guitar stage right and some DI boxes. It may be convenient to send the monitor outs to the expander for a connection to a powered wedge on that side of the stage. In this case, for example, we can highlight the first XLR, choose mono augs as the source, and dial in some mixes to the expander outputs. Note, there is also an expander Cat5 connection on the rear of the GLD80, so you can have an additional 8 inputs and 4 outputs at the Surface, or further away using long Cat5 cable. These inputs default to input channels 33 to 40. So a full system would be the GLD80 mixer plus one AR2412 audio rack, plus an AR84 expander connected to the main rack, plus a second AR84 connected directly to the expander port on the rear of the Surface. Of course, for a simple system, you may have just the Surface and one expander, in which case you may wish to assign the expander XLRs to input 1 to 8. Touch the first XLR, increase the range to 8, unassign the sockets from their defaults, and now patch them to input 1 to 8. On the I/O screen, there is a tab for the optional interface module, which can be fitted to the GLD80 Surface. These modules are the same as the range available for iLive, for example Dante or Ace. To set up a split of the preamp, choose the interface channel, choose Mix Rack Inputs as the source, and set the range for the input socket number that you wish to take the signals from. For some recording applications, you may wish to use the channel direct outputs, which depending on the global preferences may follow the channel processing. In this case, choose direct outs from the source selector when you're making the assignment. To see the global takeoff point for the direct outs, go to any input channel processing page, press routing, and you will see the direct out source pop-up options here. There is a monitor port on the AR2412 audio rack, which is Aviom compatible and will be used for the personal monitor solution to be introduced by Alan and Heath in the near future. To assign the signals to be sent to compatible Cat5 monitor systems, touch the monitor tab in the I/O screen, select a starting channel and set the signal type and range from the selector menu. The help screen can display useful hookup diagrams and explanations of the GLD system. Here we can see the range of option cards available for interfacing to other iLive and third-party systems. You can download a PDF of the GLD input socket map too. This will give you a reference of the default system mapping convention.